I was lonely even when he was in the room. I did not know what I was signing up for. When you marry an entrepreneur, you don't just marry a person, you marry a mission. I was counting everything we could lose instead of everything we could gain. What if he keeps growing and evolving and I don't? What if he outgrows me? I didn't want to compete with the vision. I was scared. I was afraid of being left behind. So today, I'm going to say the things that most entrepreneurial wives think, but never truly want to say out loud. These are my confessions. I have been an entrepreneurial wife for over 13 years, and for a long time, I felt completely alone. It wasn't because my husband wasn't there, but it was because even when he was sitting right next to me, his mind was somewhere I could not follow. Now, you may be thinking, Natasha, what is an entrepreneurial wife? Is this some word that you that you made up? Well, before I get into my personal confessions, I just want to quickly define something because maybe you simply clicked on this video and you're not even sure if this video even applies to you. So I just want to break it down to you. An entrepreneurial wife, I believe, is a woman that's married to a man whose mind never clocks out. He's always thinking of what the next thing should be. He's a huge visionary. She's married to someone who doesn't just have a job, a regular job, a 9 to 5. He has a calling, a vision, a mission that lives deeply inside of him, whether he's at his desk or at the dinner table or even lying next to her at midnight, y'all. And I can relate to that. She is the woman who literally holds the household together while he holds the vision together. She's the woman that manages the emotions, the schedule, the children, all the doctor's appointment, the home, and often quietly, often without a lot of applause, so that he has the foundation he needs to build the vision that God has called him to build. She's the one who says, I believe in you on the days he doesn't even believe in himself. I've done that for over 10 years. She's the woman who absorbs the uncertainty of the risk while also projecting calm for everyone else. She is the partner, a stabilizer. She's a safe place. She's a cheerleader. She's a confident. Listen, she's all these things. And she is often doing all of that while quietly losing herself in the process. How many of you are able to relate to that where you're married to a visionary man? If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to know that this video is for you. I want you to stay locked in because you are an entrepreneurial wife and what you carry, it deserves to be seen. That's my heart behind this video is that you would be able to see yourself in my story and know that you're okay and know that even what you're experiencing is normal. So confession number one is I did not know what I was signing up for. When I married my husband, y'all, I married him, the man, the silly man, the fun man, the disciplined man, the man that I loved. What I didn't fully understand is that when you marry an entrepreneur, you don't just marry a person, you marry a mission. You literally sign a contract of a huge mission, a vision, a calling that is always expanding, always evolving, and always asking for more. And the blueprint, y'all, it changes constantly. How many of you can relate to where you're like, babe, what is the next idea? How many ideas are living up inside of your head? Just when I thought I understood what we were building, the plan shifted again. A new idea, new direction, a new risk on the table. And I had to decide over and over again, am I in or am I out? Now, nobody truly prepares you for that question. That's a question that I had in my mind all the time. And here's the scripture that really stabilized me. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. That's from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Now, that verse became something I had to learn to actually live because my understanding, my own mind couldn't keep up with where God was taking him and us. I literally had to learn to trust what I couldn't see. Our marriage, my a relationship with him, it turned into this constant faith walk where I had to grow in my faith and in my trust in God. Confession number two, I was lonely even when he was in the room. Listen, this is the one I don't think gets talked about enough. There is a loneliness epidemic in the lives of entrepreneurial wives. You see, because an entrepreneurial wife is a very specific kind of lonely. It's not the loneliness of being alone and nobody there with you, it's the loneliness of being right there at the dinner table, in the same bed, in the same room, and still feeling invisible. It's as though the vision takes priority over you because his mind is always somewhere else. It's in the next deal, in the next proposition, the next problem, and ultimately the next vision. And after a while, you stop sharing what's on your heart. I was guilty of that because I didn't want to compete with the vision. That caused bitterness in my heart. I didn't want to be the thing that pulls him back when he's trying to fly forward and provide for me and our family. So you say, well, I said all the time, I'm fine. I'm good. You're good. This vacation is great. I smile. Oh, and I just hold it together. And it's easy to simply carry that loneliness quietly because you love him. I carried it because I loved him and because I knew that he was carrying something heavy too. But I want to speak to the woman watching this who knows exactly what I mean. It's that loneliness. That loneliness can be so real. And I want you to know that you are not weak for actually feeling it. A scripture that has helped to stabilize me when I have felt weak is the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. You're going to experience brokenheartedness, being an entrepreneur. But in the moments I felt most unseen by the business, by the busyness, by life, God saw me. He was close, even when I felt furthest away from everyone else. And I'm so grateful for that because that truly helped to sustain me in the moments when I needed it the most. Now, confession number three is I was afraid and I couldn't say it. How many ladies can relate to that, right? Here's what I never said out loud for a very long time. And these words were, I was scared. I was scared of the risk. I was scared of failure. Every new risk he wanted to take, something in me tightened. Every investment, every pivot, every babe, I have a new idea. I felt the ground shift under my feet. And it wasn't that I didn't believe in him. I did. I've always believed in my husband, but I had a scarcity mindset. I was counting everything we could lose instead of everything we could gain. That scarcity mindset prohibited me from truly being able to support my husband. And underneath all of that fear was something even deeper, something I was almost too ashamed to admit. I was afraid of being left behind. I was afraid that the business was just going to leave me behind in the dust. Not just financially, but personally. What if he keeps growing and evolving and I don't? What if he outgrows me? What if I can't keep up? I just felt this striving spirit come upon me, this spirit of just competition, trying to prove that I belonged. I held that fear inside for longer than I should have. And it was quietly costing me my peace, my joy, my ability to be fully present in my own life and marriage. It says in scripture, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. You see, fear never will come from God. I had to recognize that the anxiety, the scarcity, the grip that was not my inheritance, I had been living in something that was never meant for me. This is what finally changed everything. I want to tell you what shifted me because I don't want to just leave you in the hard part because it does get better. Now, confession number four of an entrepreneurial wife is I had to come to a place where I actually realized that my life does not belong to me, that I'm a steward of the life that God has given me. You see, the people God has given me and my husband to steward in our company, in our home, in our community, they do not owe me anything, not security, not certainty, not comfort, nothing. And when I really let that land in my heart and in my mind and in my soul, something broke open in me because I had been holding on so tight to outcomes, tight to timelines, tight to what I thought I deserved because of the work that I was doing or the work that my husband was doing, tight to what I thought I was owed. And all of that gripping and all of that control, it was making me miss the actual gift of what we were building together, what God had given us to steward. I had to open my hands up to the Lord again. And when I did that, everything changed in my life. My perspective shift, and the joy came back. We see in scripture that you were not your own. You were bought at a price. You and I belong to the Lord. Our lives belong to him. Our jobs belong to him. When I understood that my life was not mine to control, that I was stewarding something so much bigger than myself, the fear started to lose its grip. I stopped asking, what do I get? And started asking, what am I called to give, Lord, in this place of being an entrepreneurial wife, building something with my amazing husband, stewarding the lives of people he's given us. Now, the last confession of an entrepreneurial wife is I now have a definition of what abundance looks like. People talk about abundance like it's a number, a milestone, a bank account, or even a greater level of influence. That's not what it means to me anymore. Abundance to me is being able to love everyone around me fully without anxiety or fear. I'm able to love people generously and completely without any expectation of getting anything in return. No keeping score, no waiting to see what I get back, no fear driving my giving, but I'm serving from a place of authenticity and purity. Just love freely given. That is freedom. That is what helped me to get free as an entrepreneurial wife, married to an entrepreneur and a heavy visionary. It took me 13 years, a lot of lonely nights, a lot of fear, and a lot of letting go to get here. But I am here and I wouldn't trade the journey. I want to share with you one of my absolutely favorite scriptures, and it says, and now these three remain faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. And we know that in First Corinthians, we we have the definition of what true love means. When I stopped making abundance about what I could accumulate and started making it about how fully I could love, everything shifted for me. That's the life I want to live. That's the life that I'm living now. That's the wife, the woman that I am becoming and who I want you to become. If you're able to relate to these 5 confessions, I want to encourage you to share in the comments where you're at. Share which confession you're able to relate to the most. And maybe you are not married. Maybe you are not married, to an entrepreneur. And that's okay. You may still be able to hear some of these confessions and be able to connect it to your story, and possibly it can help you to live in a greater level of freedom. If you recognize yourself that the loneliness, the fear, the scarcity, and the quiet ache of feeling like you might get left behind is still there in you, I want you to know something. You are not alone. If nobody else sees you, I see you. And I want you to know that what you are carrying is real, and the sacrifice is real, and the strength it takes to stand beside a visionary is real. And you do have the capacity to walk alongside your husband, to help carry the weight of the vision and to help him walk it out. He can't do this without you. His vision is also a part of your vision. It's a partnership. And I want you to know that your story matters, not just his, but yours. All right. Okay. So if you are a woman who's married to an entrepreneur or married to a visionary, and you've been trying to get language around what you need in order to feel seen and supported, I want to encourage you to watch an episode that my husband and I did together. And in that episode, I share 5 things that every woman needs from their husband. Whether you are single, engaged, or married, I believe this episode will help to give you language so that you can communicate to your significant other what you need in order to feel safe and secure. Go ahead and watch it right here.